The chat's in absolute meltdown here because yes, it happened. Magnus Carlsen, world number one and GOAT of chess, runs into his arch nemesis, the bad boy himself. Go moke, go broke. It's Mr. Hans Niemann, the man with the power to dethrone the chess king Magnus. They met in Title Tuesday today, 11th of November, online chess, presented by Lovable, the finest purveyors of butt plugs in the business. Sorry, couldn't resist. This is a fascinating encounter. What a game. Magnus with white. He opens with the king pawn here, and he goes with something solid and steady. A 4 knights, wonderful horse box on the board. You can expect some horseplay, a real 4-deer horse. And now grab a stiff drink, laddie, because we've got ourselves a scorch game. Sorry about that, that was really bad. We see takes, knight takes, bishop b4. It's well known at the top level of chess that this is drawish, but there is some venom. You know, we saw Hikaru beat Fabi with this very opening right after he got back from his vacation in Fabi's throw as well. This is how the standard opening goes here. So black's got a teeny weeny bit of a compromised pawn structure. That only gets worse here. If you know what you're doing in this position, you just chase the bishop. You don't worry about trying to break the pin. You let the structure be ruined. It's one that really Lord Hans Feingold alone could love. Why is black allowing the ruining of the structure? Well, you get the bishops. These arrows and lines here were actually drawn by Hans live on stream. He understands the position deeply. They both do. Magnus now drops back with the knight here. Let's see where he's headed. He comes round with it now, spinning onto the G file just after protecting the pawn. Here it goes, galloping away. Magnus loves to practice with his hobby horse for games like this, and he wants to dominate this f5 square. Weakened, of course. No pawns can kick a piece. So Hans goes for a rook lift. He flexes those biceps, covers the square. Pawn h3 gives that king some Lufthansa. King f8, king h2, rook e7 on the board here, and Niemann's just waiting around. He now chops off that knight. We enter an opposite coloured bishop's endgame, but both pairs of rooks on the board. Compromised pawn structure. We know that Magnus is going to want to massage Hans Niemann. Really get in there nice and deep, see what he can do. Niemann attacks the pawn, defended by the king, and it's a micro activation. You just stand the other side of the pawn now. Rook e5 back, little bit of waiting. Magnus drops with the bishop. This one slides here, and pawn f4. Magnus roars like a mighty chess lion live on stream. Check is played. Magnus blocks. This rook doubles on the file, and we get one set leaving the board, and there he goes. 5 points worth of material just bounding up the board. That's what Magnus said the king's worth in the end game. King g7 now. Rook f1 on the board here. Bishop d6, rook f3. And here's the big question to me. Can you take here? King recaptures. Is this a draw? Is it not a draw? I do not have the answer. Maybe Niemann's worried that Magnus is going to come running. Obviously, he can't come running on the dark squares so easily. Does he come on the light squares? Does he go for these pawns? Either way, clearly more uncomfortable for black. We didn't see the exchange of rooks though. Niemann goes in with e1 to the rook. Bad sentence. King f5. Love the activation of Magnus's king. You're watching a goat at work here. Bishop e7. Bishop a6. And he's swinging round to attack the pawns. Rook c1 goes for this one. Now you could check, or even go rook c3 to defend an attack. Rooks are wonderfully placed. Rooks are wonderfully placed when they defend and attack at the same time. But Magnus does this. Now we see rook e1 back. Bishop b7 hits a couple of pawns, defended. And look at this. Pin and win. That rook can't move. Pin to the king. No, it's not, of course. Just checking you're awake. Wrong king. Rook e3 played. Bishop d7. And Hans Niemann makes a big mistake. Not obvious at all. But what he should do is play rook c3 and cover the pawn. But he pushes. I mean, it looks amazing to do that. Why would you not push your pawns? Fine, what's the big deal? Magnus blockades them. Well, you've just created some critical weaknesses. In many endgames now, this king has a rapid run for the centre. When it hits d5, things get dangerous. Bishop d6 played, rook e2, rook g3 over here. Again, do you exchange or not? Well, now you're in some big doo-doo if you actually swap those rooks. So this was played. A4 from Magnus, and he just runs it all the way down the board. And this is pertinent in many endgames. Rook e3, best move now apparently. But again, really? Can you play like this? I mean, you can go that way, you can go this way. You know, you're going to lose a pawn. Can you really save this as a draw? This is one of the best lines apparently. Give the pawn, march the king round. I mean, okay, this is so dangerous for black. Let's run back. We didn't see rook e3. We saw rook g6. And it gets a big question mark. Look at the rise of the bar here. Magnus completely winning because he invades with the rook. Sheds this pawn. Swings round behind. Picking up a tempo. Bishop c7. Rook d7. You are in the house of pain. Now the bishop goes to b8. If you come here on b6 and try and cement everything, didn't have this line prepared. I'm being told bishop c4 best to first target this, d3 apparently. But long story short, in many lines, you're swinging round, you're sacrificing the rook, and then you're pushing the pawn. Think also bishop into a4 in some lines to block the a file. Just the themes of the position, right? And the king's of course so active. So we didn't see this. We saw this. Now rook b7. Bishop back to d6. Magnus wins a clean pawn. And obviously it's a massive pawn. Fine, Niemann's getting this. But after the casual king e4, Niemann resigns.
He loses to me. I don't think he can show his face in another tournament again.
Do you think he will lose to you?
Yeah, of course, because I already broke him once. He can't handle the intensity.
Because if you take with check, this king runs, and it runs so fast. You know, where's that bishop really going? Rook moves, the pawn is running. It's just absolutely unstoppable. Nothing can be done. There really is nothing. You make the queen, you do some kind of checkmate, one sample line. Magnus just spanks Hans Niemann from this should-be level position. Wow, he's probably on his way to victory right now. I'm out the door to actually play some chess, not play nearly half as well, but I'll try. Thanks very much for watching, and have a look at the video on screen if you want to see another epic encounter between these two guys. Thanks a lot, and see you soon. Cheers.